Under the sun-drenched sky of a classic English summer day, center court at Wimbledon buzzed with anticipation. But it wasn't just the clash of rackets or the prospect of a new champion that had everyone on edge. It was the return of someone deeply missed. On Sunday, July 13, 2025, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, stepped into the public eye once again, and in doing so, brought with her a sense of grace, strength, and continuity that resonated far beyond the tennis grounds. Walking alongside Prince William and flanked by their children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, the princess was welcomed with a warm ovation from the crowd. Her appearance marked not just a return, but a reassurance at one of Britain's most cherished summer traditions. She wasn't merely attending as a spectator. As the royal patron of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, Princess Kate was there in an official capacity to present the trophy to men's singles winner Jannik Sinner. The moment, poised and ceremonial, was filled with symbolic weight. After months of quieter days and personal healing, here she was, smiling, present, and composed under the scrutiny of millions. The photographs tell part of the story. Her in a striking royal blue dress, smiling as she mingled with athletes, officials, and well-wishers. She looked not just elegant, but assured, as if each interaction was a gentle declaration that she was still here, still committed, still very much the public figure so many have looked to with admiration. Her outfit coordinated delicately with Princess Charlotte's crisp white dress trimmed in navy, while William and George echoed the palette in their own tailored blue ensembles. Together, the family offered a picture of quiet strength, unified, polished, and deeply connected. But this was more than a fashionable return to the royal box. This was a deliberate step back into the spotlight at an event that has long served as one of her most beloved platforms. Since 2016, when she succeeded the late Queen Elizabeth II as patron of the All England Club, Princess Kate has made Wimbledon one of her most consistent and joyful engagements. Her affinity for the sport isn't just ceremonial, it's personal. She's been spotted more than once cheering passionately from the stands, eyes alight with competitive spirit. Over the years, her presence at the tournament has become a kind of tradition in itself. Spectators may come for the tennis, but many eagerly anticipate a glimpse of the princess. What she's wearing, who she's with, and how she carries herself. In a sea of cameras and commentary, she remains a picture of composure, her expressions carefully measured, her gestures sincere. And yet, this year felt different. There was a palpable tenderness in the air, an awareness that behind the elegance lies a woman who has faced deeply personal health challenges. Earlier in 2024, Catherine courageously shared a message detailing her medical journey. It was a rare moment of vulnerability, met with an outpouring of empathy and affection from across the world. Since then, official updates from Kensington Palace have been measured and respectful, reinforcing a boundary between public duty and private healing. As of July 2025, there has been no new statement regarding the conclusion of her treatment or current medical condition. It's a silence that deserves to be honored, not filled with speculation. Still, in the absence of words, actions can speak volumes. Her appearance at Wimbledon, radiant, steady, and deeply engaged, offered a quiet message. She remains steadfast in her role, continuing to support the institutions and traditions that matter to her. And that commitment is perhaps best reflected in the way her family accompanied her. Prince George and Princess Charlotte weren't just there as royal children attending a tennis match. They were participants in a shared family tradition, seated close by, eyes fixed on the court. Their presence hinted at a deeper intention, a passing of values, a weaving of personal memory into the public fabric of British life. The royal family's connection to Wimbledon spans generations. Queen Elizabeth II, elegant and stoic, often graced the royal box. Princess Diana, with her spontaneous charm, brought a different kind of warmth. And now, Catherine continues that legacy, blending the grace of the past with the modernity of today. There's a kind of quiet power in choosing to show up when you don't have to, especially after a season of difficulty. In many ways, Catherine's appearance wasn't about pageantry. It was about resilience, about showing that even in uncertain times, The rhythms of tradition and duty can provide both anchor and inspiration. Of course, the symbolism wasn't lost on fashion commentators either. The royal blue of her dress was more than a color choice. In royal wardrobes, blue often signifies stability, loyalty, and calm. It was a subtle but powerful signal, a reminder of the steadiness she embodies even when the path forward may still be uncertain. Her look was immaculate, as always, but never ostentatious. The styling felt thoughtful rather than theatrical. It was a kind of visual diplomacy, one that balanced the need to reassure without drawing undue attention to private matters. As she took her place on center court to hand over the winner's trophy, there was something timeless in the scene, a poised figure at the heart of a historic tradition, applauding excellence, honoring the moment, not just as a royal, but as a woman whose presence carries profound meaning for so many. And yet, this return does not signal a full-time comeback, at least not yet. Kensington Palace has emphasized that the princess's public schedule remains flexible and will be shaped by ongoing medical consultations. Each appearance will be thoughtfully considered, with her health as the foremost priority. But this one moment, this single day at Wimbledon, mattered. It reminded the world that Princess Catherine is still an anchor in the cultural life of the nation. Whether seated in the royal box or supporting quietly from home, her influence is enduring. In a world often frayed by uncertainty and change, the sight of a familiar royal figure, standing tall in a sea of tradition and celebration, was deeply reassuring. She didn't need to make a speech. She didn't need to offer explanations. Her presence was enough. In a time when public figures are scrutinized down to their smallest gesture, it's rare to see someone navigate that spotlight with the kind of subtlety and grace Catherine does. Her appearance at Wimbledon 2025 wasn't a grand statement. It was something quieter, something more deeply felt, a soft reaffirmation that she's still here, still watching, still caring. And for a nation that has walked with her through joy, sorrow, and uncertainty, that meant everything. Behind every cheer from the stands and every camera flash, there was a sense of collective exhale. People weren't just looking at a royal figure, they were seeing a mother, a wife, a woman in recovery. And in the understated beauty of her blue dress, in the calm way she greeted fans and athletes alike, they saw not performance but presence. A quiet strength that didn't need to be announced. For years now, Catherine's connection to British sport, and tennis in particular, has been more than ceremonial. She brings to it an authentic enthusiasm, the kind that doesn't come from duty alone. Anyone who's watched her reactions during intense Wimbledon matches knows she's more than just a patron. She's a genuine fan. And this love of the game, of sportsmanship, of community, is part of what makes her so resonant. The princess doesn't simply support British culture from a distance. She participates in it, celebrates it, and brings her family along for the ride. It's a model of royalty that feels approachable, human. On this July afternoon, that humanity was especially apparent. Cameras caught Princess Charlotte whispering excitedly to her mother, George leaning in to better follow the action on court, and William quietly exchanging thoughts with Catherine between points. They weren't just present, they were connected, engaged, a family sharing a cherished moment together. In a monarchy that often balances image and intimacy, those glimpses of genuine connection matter. They remind the public that behind the titles and formalities are individuals who love, struggle, and cherish time together just like anyone else. Of course, the context surrounding the Princess of Wales made this moment all the more poignant. The earlier part of 2024 had brought revelations that shocked and saddened the public. When Catherine chose to speak about her health challenges, it wasn't with drama or fanfare. It was with calm honesty. That statement, delivered with characteristic poise, peeled back the curtain just enough to show vulnerability, without inviting intrusion. Since then, the palace has been careful, protective even. There have been no speculative updates, no unofficial disclosures. Just a respectful silence. A boundary that says, some things are sacred. And while many might wish for more clarity or reassurance, there's also a growing understanding that healing, real, lasting healing, takes time, space, and dignity, which is why this appearance, though brief, carried such emotional weight. In a world where so much is manufactured for public consumption, her presence at Wimbledon felt real. Not staged, not strategic, just a woman who loves tennis, honoring her role, and spending time with her children. Especially in a world so often unpredictable, is deeply comforting. But even in that comfort, questions linger. What comes next? Will the princess take on more public duties in the coming months? Or will this be a rare appearance amid an extended period of rest? The truth is, we don't know. And that's okay. Kensington Palace has made it clear that Catherine's future engagements will be carefully paced, guided by medical advice, and announced only when appropriate. There is no pressure, no rush. Her health and her family's well-being come first. Until then, the public will wait, not impatiently, but supportively. Because what this moment at Wimbledon made clear is that presence, even in its smallest form, can be deeply powerful. A few hours in the royal box, a smile, a trophy presentation, and suddenly there's light again. In many ways, this quiet reemergence mirrors what the princess has always stood for: service, not spectacle. Her life has never been about dominating headlines or stirring controversy. Instead, she's built her royal role on something far more enduring: trust. The trust that she'll show up when it matters, that she'll do her part, that she'll carry herself with dignity, always. And that trust has been returned in full. Across Britain, across the Commonwealth, and in places like the United States, where the royal family continues to captivate hearts, people have responded with warmth, admiration, and most importantly, patience. Because at its core, Catherine's story isn't just one of royalty. It's one of resilience, of adapting to challenges without losing your center, of being present for your children, your causes, and your country, even when the world behind the scenes is more complex than anyone knows. That's what made Wimbledon 2025 more than just a sporting event. It was a moment of quiet celebration, a family, of healing in progress, of grace under pressure. As the final point was played and Jannik Sinner lifted his trophy, there was applause not just for a tennis champion, but for a woman who continues to walk her journey with grace. The Princess of Wales didn't need to say a single word to make her presence felt. Her poise, her warmth, and the gentle way she engaged with the world spoke volumes. In a time when headlines so often chase chaos and scandal, her story reminds us of something different, something steadier. That elegance and empathy still matter. That showing up, even quietly, can make all the difference. And while we may not know when we'll see her next, we do know this: when Catherine, Princess of Wales, chooses to step into the light, she does so with purpose, heart, and a presence that continues to inspire. Her visit to Wimbledon was a whisper of hope in a noisy world. And sometimes, a whisper is all you need to remember that you're not alone. That dignity, beauty, and quiet strength still have a place in the story we're all writing together.